Jesse, what do you think of the Canon R6?
This is the Canon R6. It's been a camera that has helped my YouTube channel as well as my photography and filmmaking career a ton. It is a camera that has pretty much ticked all the boxes and has basically been the perfect camera for me as a YouTuber, filmmaker, and photographer. And we have now switched over to the Canon R6. Thank you, iPhone, for being my B camera, since my other B camera kind of sucks. I'm shooting on the 2020 Canon R6. It's been the camera I've been using for the past, 6 months or so, half of a year. So I've really learned the ins and outs of it. And this new update has come out, which has given the camera IPB light so that file sizes are even lower. So the next clip on this video is gonna be shot in IPB light. If you notice a difference in quality, well then that sucks. All right, so we're shooting in IPB light, and I'm gonna be shooting in IPB light for the rest of this video, as I feel like if I'm able to make videos in IPB light, I'll definitely be able to shoot for longer and my poor hard drives will not fill up so quickly. All right, let's put you on here. As you guys saw, I had the camera plugged in via USB-C because at this point, I just find it way easier to charge my camera like I do my phone. I don't like charging the battery separately. Now the trick to that is that you need a power grip that it's at least 45 watts. The power brick on any of the new MacBooks will work, as this is around 60 watts, but I actually purchased a 45 watt brick just for my phone and my camera because this one's kind of big and this one's mainly for my computer. And charging your camera like your phone is just way easier. And now that I have the battery grip on the camera, as it's plugged in, it charges one battery until it's full and then the other until it's full, so I never have to take my batteries out. So let's talk about the Canon R6. Now I've made a bunch of videos already about this camera, but the more I use it, the more of an opinion I get on it, and I just think that this is an amazing camera. First thing I want to talk about is the image quality. Now I've shot a bunch of client projects, photo shoots, YouTube videos just like this, and this camera can do pretty much everything I need it to. It's a serious workhorse in terms of image quality, and I never find myself shooting something saying, oh, the quality of the footage looks bad. And having that ease of mind is amazing because I don't have to worry about sharpening or any post-processing to make the footage just look better. Before, when I shot on a camera that didn't have 4K 60, I really didn't like shooting slow motion because I would shoot most things in 4K real time, and then I would have a lower quality slow motion. But because I love slow motion, the fact that I can shoot 4K 60 with this camera is amazing. The next thing that I really love about this camera is the reliable autofocus. Now I think autofocus is pretty much mandatory for any camera at this point, unless it's like a cinema camera. Because even now, a lot of cinema cameras have pretty decent autofocus. And companies like Blackmagic and Panasonic are really losing out on a lot of customers because autofocus is so important. In today's time, everyone's filming themselves and creating companies about themselves. So having a camera that you can move around with and not worry about yourself being in focus, I think is absolutely mandatory. So yes, having super snappy autofocus like this camera is amazing. I thought the Canon EOS R had good autofocus, and on paper I think it's supposed to have better autofocus than this camera, but this camera's eye autofocus is amazing. I rely on it so much with client videos at this point, and that's something I would never do before. I actually used to be a full-on manual focus. I never relied on autofocus before, but hey, this camera has changed the game for me. And I think these are the things that are really important when you start looking into a camera, because you need to find the things that really help your workflow. And if good autofocus is something that you need, then I would prioritize autofocus over things like resolution, because reliable autofocus just can't be replaced. In good lighting, 1080p and all that doesn't look that bad, and a camera's autofocus can't usually get better with firmware updates. Yeah, the Panasonic GH5 got a little bit better with updates, but it's still nothing compared to a camera that has designated built-in good autofocus. You know what I really hate about this Gorillapod? This screw on the inside every once in a while gets quite loose. And so yeah, I find it super frustrating that the screw gets loose and I have to always go and get some Allen wrenches to tighten this screw back up. Just that little tightening there, and it always gets loose. So, I'm just gonna keep this guy on the side for now. We're gonna go back on the Manfrotto Pixie or mini tripod here because it holds up my camera perfectly fine. Now I do wanna go outside today to take some pictures, mainly to get a good thumbnail for this video because I have not gone on a photo shoot in a while. I need a picture with this camera that looks really badass because I love the battery grip on it. It just makes it look so much more like a 1DX and so sexy. So yeah, I want to go on a photo shoot before it gets dark. Now adding to that whole reliable autofocus, just a reliable camera. I have not had a bug, a glitch, anything with this camera, and it just makes you more confident when using it. And to be fair, I feel like this is something across the board with almost all Canon cameras. I've seen people have problems with Sony, Panasonic, Fuji. other camera brands. Hey, I'm not a Canon fanboy. I'm just talking about what I've learned through experience and all that. And I just find Canon cameras to be extremely reliable. And as professional tools, you want them to be reliable, because if they're not reliable, then they're not really professional. Then you'll always be worried when using them. Now, I get this camera has its problems like the overheating and the IBIS wobble, but neither of those things affect my workflow, as I don't shoot really long interviews. Because I can shoot 4K 60 for at least 30 minutes on this camera, and I've never had my camera rolling for over 30 minutes. I think that's absurd. For at least the type of videos that I do, I guess there are people who do wedding ceremony or really long interviews and stuff where that would be a problem, but for me, that's not. So the whole overheating thing is not an issue for me. I am aware of it, and that is probably one of the bigger problems with this camera. But I kind of learned how to use the camera and not get that much wobble. So I just think that the reliability is something that you really need to consider. I have not purchased any RF lenses for this camera as yet. I think they're too expensive. For right now at least. Yes, supposedly that are a little bit sharper and all that, but I don't really get images that look low in quality at all, so I don't really see a need to drop 2-3 grand. As well as the lenses I have, I just like, so I don't know, I haven't seen the need to purchase one, and I think with that money I could get a few more things that would actually help me out more. But if you're in the market for them, and if you can afford them, then by all means. I saw Peter McKinnon just make his new video about the 100mm macro. That thing is amazing. Another thing that I love about this camera is that it's versatile. It can do everything and anything. I think the camera that would make this camera really obsolete is the Sony a7S III. But that thing takes 12 megapixel pictures. I mean, my iPhone takes 12 megapixel pictures. And yeah, there's nothing really wrong with 12 megapixels, as it's not really just about the pixels. And that camera is still gonna look way better than my iPhone, but I am getting into printing pictures, so I do want as many megapixels as I can get. So knowing that I have a camera that can take decently large prints, as well as shoot pretty amazing video, I think that's worth it for me. And I think that's something that Sony should work on with their a7 IV. I think that camera could be the next best camera. As a hybrid, I mean. Now, yes, this camera is amazing, but every camera has its cons. And for me, the cons of this camera has nothing to do with the IBIS or the overheat. And for me, the only con of this camera are the colors. The colors are not really consistent. Sometimes I get a yellowish, greenish tint, and other times it looks really warm. I can't tell why it looks like this. I don't know if this is just a flaw with the R6. I know the R5 footage does have a little bit of a green tint as well, but compared to my EOS R, I think my EOS R had a more consistent color science. I don't know what Canon did with this sensor. The images look amazing and the video looks amazing, just sometimes I think it has to do with the white balance. It just gives off a green tint, and for me that is way bigger than anything to do with the IBIS or the overheating. So yeah, I want to take this outside and I want to take some pictures. Let's go outside. Okay, so I've been looking for like a black wall because I like taking pictures in front of black walls, so I found a sex shop, so that may be a good background for me. This is why you get a Gorillapod. Look how clutch this is. I don't have anyone with me, so hey, connect it like this. All right, so yeah. This camera's amazing. I love taking pictures with it. I mean, those pictures weren't taken with it. I just needed something for the thumbnail. But yeah, this is an all-around amazing camera, and if you buy it, you will not be disappointed. I'll leave a link down in the description if you want to purchase it, and yes, I will get a pretty hefty commission if you purchase it through there. We don't have to. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you find it helpful and entertaining. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Oh, Nessie, come here. Come here. Oh. Come. What do you think of the Canon R6?